What's up, YouTube? Capital G here, looking at the first little bit of cards coming out of Maximum Crisis. This is going to be the booster set, guys, that comes after Raging Tempest. So we'll be looking for this set, I would say, next May. But this set is actually coming out in the OCG over there in Asia in a little under 2 months. So it does make sense that they're starting to reveal some of the cards. I would imagine probably within the first, or excuse me, within like the next couple of weeks, we can probably expect like a major reveal where they'll probably show off like the cover card, like, you know, one of maybe Yuya's boss monsters from like the anime. So anyways, we know of some archetypes that Konami is going to be giving support to in this set, some throwback archetypes. Well, you know what? I don't really want to say throwback. Some of these aren't really that old, like Breaker of Shadows and, you know, Shining Victories and stuff like that. So we know that Buster Blader is going to be getting some new support. Digibugs or Digital Bugs are getting more support. And then Zefra are getting some new support. I think the Buster Blader card is fantastic. I'm going to save that one for last because I'm very excited about that one. So I'll go ahead and I'll start with the Digital Bug card. And we only know about 3 cards so far, but of course there'll be more stuff to come. So anyways, the first card we got is Digital Bug LED Bug. It's a light insect, just like all the other digital bugs. Level 3. It has 500 attack, 0 defense. Digital bugs aren't, I mean, like statistic wise, they're not really that impressive. It's more about like the Xyz. You know what? They're kind of like raid raptors, I guess, in that sense. Cannot be used as a material for an Xyz summon except for the Xyz summon of an insect type monster. It's not that bad. I mean, there's, you know, you get Giga Brilliant and Digibugs have their own little Xyz and whatnot. Once per turn, if this attack position monster is changed to defense position, you can add 1 level 3 insect type monster from your deck to your hand. Okay, so it's kind of like a little bit of a rota for digital bugs, or I guess also insectors if you want to search Hornet and Dragonfly and Centipede if you for some reason want to go that route and make a chaos digital bug insector deck, I guess. The XC effect, or this is kind of like the effect that empowers the Xyz. Effect number 2, if an Xyz monster Xyz summoned using this card on the field, an Xyz monster Xyz summoned using this card on the field as Xyz material, wow, that's a lot to say, gains this effect. That is, man, they could have worded that better, like, I feel. When it destroys a monster by battle, draw 1 card. So basically, if you Xyz summon a monster and you have this guy as material, your monster kind of becomes like an Air Knight Pear Shaft type of deal. You don't get to obviously get piercing damage, but you do get the draw cards, and it's pretty cool because things like Giga Brilliant can be pretty damn strong. You know, you can get a Giga Brilliant up to like 2400, run stuff over, and then just draw cards. Next up, we have a Zephra card. This must be like the absolute end of Dual Terminal 3 and like the storyline, because we saw kind of like the Ritual Beast story kind of like wrap up. I think this right here, like this to me, this looks like Dance Princess and it looks like Great Sorcerer. So I believe that this is like Necra's artwork going on here in this the artwork for this Zefra card. It's called Zephyr Providence. Okay. It's a spell card. You can only activate 1 per turn. The effect number 1 is add 1 Zephyr card from your deck to your hand except itself. So basically it's a rota for the entire archetype. Zephyr Divine Strike, now searchable. Well, actually it was already searchable, but a lot easier now because now you don't have to pendulum summon and use the Yang Zings and all that. You can just basically search straight for your Infernity Barrier, which is pretty cool. Effect number 2, if a Zephyr card you control would be destroyed except during the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead. This is really key because I mean, I'd imagine it's really good protecting your like counter traps and protecting your spells and traps against like Twin Twister. That would be really good, or just protecting your monsters from battle. You know what I mean? If your monster is going to die by battle, just banish this card from the graveyard, which means that technically you can pitch this card from your hand for something like Twin Twister. I probably wouldn't do that because this shit just seems too good for, if you're going to commit to a Zephyr deck, I would strongly consider, or I would strongly suggest running 3 of these because it searches the entire archetype. I have no idea why you wouldn't run a rota that searches everything. This card seems amazing for, you know, the Zephyr players out there. And then the last card is the Buster Blader card. This is the card I'm actually most excited about. It's called Destruction Swordsman's Cradle. It's a normal trap card. You can only activate one per turn. If you could activate more in one turn, that would just be no. And also, if this card was a spell, oh my god, like Buster Blader would be like legitimately back on the map. But I think this card is still very strong regardless. It says send one Destruction Sword card and Buster Blader monster from your deck to the graveyard, except this card, of course. Special summon one Buster Dragon from your extra deck or graveyard, but destroy it during the end phase. This is really strong because I mean, it basically just gets your Buster Dragon right there to the field, guys, straight from your extra deck. And since you're already sending a Buster Blader to the graveyard, obviously your Buster Dragon can just summon your Buster Blader out. And I looked at all the Buster Blader cards. The cool thing is, right, so you can have your Buster Dragon and your Buster Blader on the field, and since you could have dropped one of these destruction guys in the graveyard, because I assume based on the text of this card that it means that you can dump the traps or the monsters in the graveyard, right? You could basically just instantly domain lock your opponent out of the game. I believe it's this one right here that basically says your opponent's monsters cannot be special summoned, or your opponent cannot special summon monsters out of the extra deck while this card is equipped to a Buster Blader. And the thing is, Buster Dragon, this guy right here, he actually equips the Buster Swords, well, the monster ones, to the Buster Bladers during your opponent's turn. So this one is kind of like a domain. They've got one that's a soul drain, or you could send the traps to the graveyard and then you can activate their effects as well. So that's pretty cool too. So I'm like, man, this card really loads up your graveyard. Now there is one downside though that I didn't read. The card, the Buster Dragon that you summon, it gets destroyed during the end phase of the next turn. So during the end phase of your opponent's turn, your dragon is actually going to die. But the thing is, it still ends up being at minimum a 1-for-1, right? It's technically like a +1, but it still ends up being at least a 1-for-1 because you get your Buster Dragon out, and then your Buster Dragon gets you a Buster Blader, and then your Buster Dragon will equip a sword to like your Buster Blader. So even when Dragon dies, you still have the Buster Blader, and it's still like a 1-for-1. You can just domain lock your opponent right out of the game. The second effect is really cool too. It says you can banish this card from your graveyard for the rest of the turn. Destruction Sword cards you control cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. So this is important because let's say you're domain locking your opponent out of the duel and they want a Twin Twister. Obviously you can activate this card, and then, you know, Twin Twister just won't be able to destroy it, and this can be used the same exact turn that it is sent to the graveyard. So this card is really good, and also it makes it very easy for you to use this guy's this trap right here, the second effect. This is the one that basically lets you instantly go into the new Buster Blader fusion card that came out in Breaker of Shadows. Basically all you need to have is just like the materials to summon it in the graveyard, but if your dragon is already going to die, then it makes it a lot easier, and you're already going to have a Buster Blader on field. So as soon as your Buster Blader dies, just activate this card and you're basically good. And, you know, out comes this guy, and he's very strong, and sometimes he can be very difficult to deal with, especially if you can get this guy back on the field and then get this guy too. Like, it can a lot of times just be GG for your opponent because they won't be able to activate any monster effects, and he's basically just sitting there piercing your opponent to death. He can't attack directly, but it's a very fucking strong card if you guys know anything about Buster Blader. So let me know what you guys think of these three cards. To me, like, two of these cards seem like absolute staples for their decks. I would say that like Cradle is a staple for Buster Blader just because it gets you Dragon instantly, which, I mean, it would be nice if it was a spell card, but it being a trap, it's still super good. And then the Zefra Providence is just like, this is a no-brainer. Don't even think about it. Just run 3 copies and you'll be fine. If you're running any deck that has at least 4 Zefra monsters, seems like you'd want to run at least a couple of copies. So anyways, let me know what you guys think. As more cards from Max Crisis are released and revealed, I'll definitely talk about those. Thank you guys for watching as always, and subscribe if you have not already, because I don't know, man, this new YouTube glitch, man, every time I upload a video, people start unsubbing. I'm getting hit with that YouTube glitch-orinos.